You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
I believe in the risen one. I believe I overcome by the power of his blood. Amen. Amen. I'm alive because he lives. Amen. Amen. Let my song join the world that never ends, because he lives.
Good morning, Chicago. Welcome to Fully Alive, the August 3rd, 2022 episode of Fully Alive. Fully Alive is the radio program of the Office of Human Dignity and Solidarity at the Archdiocese of Chicago. I'm Dawn Fitzpatrick from Respect Life Ministries, and my usual co-host, Ray Pingoy, is not with me today. So this morning, you'll just be led by me, and I have a couple of guests coming along. So today we're going to talk about some of the updates happening at the Office of Human Dignity and Solidarity. I'm going to introduce you to a couple of my coworkers, and we're going to talk about some of the things going on and what brought them to the Archdiocese. So why don't we go ahead and get started with our first guest. Our first guest is the Formation and Collaboration Coordinator for Pastoral Migratoria. So welcome, Mauro Pineda. How are you today?
Thank you, Don. I'm doing great.
Okay.
And looking forward to having this conversation today with you.
Yeah, it's very exciting to have you on. I think we've tried a number of times to get you to join us. So it's really great that you were able to come on today. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what brought you to the Archdiocese? You've been with us quite a few years now.
Yes, I've been here for 3 years. Actually, in August 15th, I still remember the day I started. It's going to be 3 years.
In 2019, is that when you came? Yeah.
Yes. So yes, I have been here 3 years, and it's been a great experience, and I look forward to being here for some while still, God willing.
Okay, so what brought you to the Archdiocese in 2019?
I wanted. There was the position open for Pastoral Migratoria, which is immigration ministry, and I myself, when I was a child, I was brought here by my parents. And I lived as, we are referred to as undocumented for about 10 years.
Okay.
And then I was able to become a resident when Ronald Reagan passed the amnesty law back in 1986. And after becoming a resident, several years later, I became a citizen of the United States. But the experience itself left some harsh memories, and so I want to, be here doing immigration ministry, hoping to make life easier or better for people who may be going through similar situations.
Okay, so it's always interesting when you see where your life came from, where it's going, and I think whenever you're dealing with a difficult situation, you always say, why do I have to go through this? But then you look back on it and say, okay, so God was able to give me some really good that came out of those difficult times. So you had that experience, and now you're able to kind of accompany people in the similar situation. which is my understanding exactly what we do in our immigration ministry as accompany people. So why don't you speak to that a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. I think the a company is the key word to the work that we do. Um, some people may be going through situations where we cannot help them. We are pretty sincere about that. And there are situations where we can help people. So we've been working with people who may have been deported at some point, and we've also been working with people who were able to, fix their legal status to become residents and eventually citizens as well. Um, but the key thing is that we're with them, regardless of the situation, whether they are ultimately deported because the case was not the best of scenarios,
Mm-hmm.
or if they became residents and eventually citizens, we were with them along the way, and I think that's the ministry that Archdiocese provides for people.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the things you do to be with them, as you're saying, or to accompany them?
Um, if we talk strictly about immigration, so people may need, let's say, for example, an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
So we connect them with nonprofit attorneys who may be able to help them, to become legal residents, if you. Yeah. The other thing is people may be looking for asylum, and so they contact us here, and then we again connect them, through our own legal department or through other nonprofits that we work closely with, to help them along with the process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The paperwork, accompanying them at the court hearings and so forth. So on a legal, from a legal perspective, we do that, quite a bit. But it's not all legal. There's also, labor rights, for example, right? Somebody's undocumented. You have a company who may be trying to take advantage of them because they are unable to defend themselves. So we connect them with people who defend, um, people whose wages have been stolen, basically.
Okay.
And so we help them. Also, especially during the pandemic, we saw it quite a bit. There was a lot of need for mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So you have people who are already suffering from depression or what have you because they left their country, they come to the United States, they are here undocumented, they may be here and they don't speak the language, and so all of this adds to a certain depression in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so mental health becomes critical, so we connect them mostly through Catholic charities, but there's other agencies as well that provide counseling and psychological help, and so we connect people with them in those cases.
Okay. And it's my understanding that you also do a lot of spiritual accompaniment with some immigrants. Is that true?
Oh, absolutely. We have forums, throughout the year, and it's always, we begin with prayer and end with prayer. We also have during Lent, we have a rosary. So we pray it every week every Wednesday during Lent.
Mm-hmm.
And, people from all walks of life, join us for the rosary. We had to do it via Zoom during, the pandemic. But the rosary is key to helping people bring that spiritual, um, you know, uh, they want to feel closer to God. And sometimes when they feel abandoned, God is the only, consolation they may have. So that's where we are with them. We also do, as you're mentioning, you showed the picture of
From
the
the
posada. We do a posada every year in December. And again, we started off with a rosary, and then a posada is a Mexican tradition, which is done the 9 days before Christmas. And what we do is we do just one, but we do it in downtown Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And and so we go from one place to another with that's Mary and Joseph asking for um, for shelter, and they get denied, and at the very end, the door is open for them. So we begin at uh, the offices of Homeland Security here in downtown Chicago, and then we end up at St. Patrick's Church, where is the doors are finally open, to Mary and Joseph as they are seeking shelter. But everything is always faith-based. Prayer is involved in everything that we do.
Right, right. And also there's representatives at each of the parishes, correct? That kind of connect to the Office of Pastoral Migratoria and help to connect people to friendly others. Can you talk a little bit about those coordinators in the parishes?
Yes, the parishes that we work with, what we do is we provide formation, and then the people who participate in the formation, they in turn do the work in their parishes. So they'll always have our support, and they'll call us and say, we need this or that, and we help them. But they end up doing the work themselves, providing the services that I just mentioned. And one example that we have is Our Lady of Mercy Parish in the North Side. And Father Nicholas has been extremely supportive as well. The Pastoral Migratoria in that parish organized, just this weekend, services to help people get what's called the city key, right? And that's for people who are undocumented and they need an identification of some sort, so that they can, maybe open, I don't know, a bank account. It's not a social security number, but it does help them with other services that they might need. And 182 people were able to get their ID through the city of Chicago, so that they can use it for different other things in their daily life. Yes.
I was just going to say, it sounds like it's our job as Catholics to welcome the stranger, to feed the hungry, to give shelter to the homeless. And the things that you're talking about are simple, basic needs, along with, of course, friends and people to love them and let them know that they have the dignity that all of our brothers and sisters have. So that's basically what you all do in your ministry, correct?
It is. And I can, probably tell you countless stories of people that have come to us, because the way we approach the ministry, we gain people's trust, right? Because we all need to trust somebody in our lives.
Right.
And most people who are undocumented, they don't want to share, that they are undocumented for obvious reasons. But the way the Archdiocese, the way the Church, does things, we get their trust, and they end up sharing their stories with us. They're like, I've been undocumented for this long, and we hear the stories, people crying, and we listen to them, and we walk with them, and work with them, and yes, that is one of the biggest things. It's just let people know that we are with them.
Right.
Christ, Mary and Joseph had to flee with Jesus. And so we know the story, people migrating, and we know the story of Moses coming out of Egypt, and everything that we do has its roots in our Catholic faith and our Catholic teachings.
Absolutely.
So that's how we approach it. Yes.
Yeah. Wonderful. So, I think it's just about time for us to take a break. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, Maura, I want to talk to you about some of the big events that you've had and you have coming up, and things that people can get involved in. Okay.
Okay.
See you on the other side.
Because he lives, I can face tomorrow.
Catholic Charities Refugee Resettlement Program has been especially busy this year, assisting individuals and families who have fled dangerous situations in their homeland, including Afghanistan and the Ukraine. The Refugee Resettlement Team helps with everything they need to start to rebuild their lives in a new country, including housing, employment, clothing, food, English classes, and referrals for legal and immigration services. The refugees are tremendously grateful for the compassion and practical help they're receiving, and they're giving back and helping each other plan for a brighter, safer future. Volunteer opportunities are currently available for those who would like to be family mentors and tutors so children and adults can practice English. To learn more about these rewarding opportunities, call 312-655-7096. That's 312-655-7096.
People always say, how can you spend your day with 3-year-olds? Seeing the changes that they go through and just the journey and how they grow, this is a very rewarding job. Even though at the end of the day, we're not the highest paid people on earth. And when I have a parent contact me and say, my child loves school, that to me, I'm setting that foundation for their love of learning. Because really, you are changing lives. You are molding lives.
Shape the next generation of leaders. Teach. Apply today at archchicago.org/schooljobs.
Catholic Charities offers a wide variety of volunteer opportunities to those who want to share their time and help us serve people in need. Whether it's stocking the shelves of our food pantries, helping refugees learn the English language, tutoring school-aged children, becoming a mentor to young adults, sorting clothes in our clothing rooms, serving hot meals to those who are facing homelessness, or delivering meals and making cards to lift the spirits of our homebound seniors, we are deeply grateful to all those who want to join in our mission of mercy. Volunteer opportunities are updated weekly for people of all ages at ccofchicagovolunteer.com or just call us at 312-655-7053. That's 312-655-7053. Thank you for helping us follow Jesus' call to serve our neighbors in need.
Amen. Amen. I'm alive because He lives. Amen. Amen. Let my soul join the world.
Thanks for being with us on Fully Alive, the radio show and podcast of the Office of Human Dignity and Solidarity at the Archdiocese of Chicago. I am your host, Dawn Fitzpatrick, and we are talking with Mauro Pineda, who is a coordinator for Pastoral Migratoria in the Immigration Ministries portion of the Office of Human Dignity and Solidarity. Boy, that's a lot to explain, isn't it, Mauro? but it's who we are. It's what we do. So we are co-workers. We just have different ministries, but under the same umbrella, because we're talking about life here, which is sacred from conception and natural death. And we take care of people every stage in between. And we have a special ministry just for immigrants in the Chicago area, and that is our Pastoral Migratoria. So Mara's telling us a little bit about what we do in our parishes and in the Archdiocese to accompany people who are undocumented or have come to our country and need a friend or need to know their way or need to navigate the legal system or the labor system or whatever, because it's completely different when they come here, right? And it's really our job as Catholics to make people feel welcome and comfortable and give them basic human needs and give them the dignity they deserve. So that's what we do out of this office. All right. So you were talking a little bit about some of the things you do. You mentioned the Posada that we had last year, and it looks like we have another one coming up December 16th of 2022. And people can just join us for that, right?
Yes, it is. It's open to the public. Anybody who wants to join us. Again, we do it in downtown. It's outside.
Mm-hmm.
And we walked through the streets of Chicago, beginning again at the offices of Homeland Security. Then we go to the prison, and we also go through to DePaul University and then Federal Plaza. And then we finish at St. Patrick's Church,
Right.
near Dearborn and Madison, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it seems to me, I've been to that a few times. It's picked up. I mean, we have more and more people coming each year, and it's really kind of a popular activity. So it's nice that you all do that.
Right. Yes, and it's a necessary event. I believe we do it. I think we're the only ones who do it in English.
Okay.
Because parishes do it throughout the city, and it's always in Spanish. But we do it in English because we want, the English-speaking community, to understand the pains and the suffering that people go through, being undocumented.
Sure.
And so that is one of the events that we do, and of course we tie it to our Catholic faith, because the posadas in Mexico are all tied to the Catholic churches in the towns where the posadas are being celebrated.
Mm-hmm.
And just one a brief explanation for those who don't know what the posada is. That's where we bring out the piñatas, and the piñata is filled with with candy. We don't have one at this one, unfortunately, just because we're doing it outside.
And sometimes it's cold and wet and snowy.
It's kind of cold, right? But that's usually where the piñatas come out, and at the end of the posada, the piñata's broken, the candy comes out, and the kids, they all come to to get their candy and stuff.
Well, it's nice to be able to carry on traditions that have become so special to people. So, that's another reason why that's such a wonderful event. So other things you do, you just finished up the National Institute of Pastoral Migratoria, and that's a national event. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what that was all about, and the fact that you all have expanded this ministry all around the country.
Right. The event itself, we bring the leaders from different parishes throughout the city, and we come, and first of all, we get to know each other, because you may have a parish in Waukegan and another parish in Chicago Heights, so it's unlikely that people will connect. But at the Instituto, they were all there, and so people are able from different parishes to connect. But we also brought in a keynote speaker from Mexico City, and he works with refugees and asylum seekers in Mexico. And that's important, because immigration is a global situation. It's not just here in the United States. I think we're looking at it here from a very different perspective, but it's not unique to the United States. So people are coming from all over the world to different parts of the world. And so Father Conrado Cepeda came from Mexico City to deliver his keynote and share his perspectives on global immigration. And so we do that every year. And it's also important because other dioceses are joining us for this event.
Right.
So right now we have, I don't have the exact number, but it's over 12 different dioceses around the country, and they are using the model that we have here in Chicago to begin Pastoral Migratoria in their diocese.
That's great.
So we go from New York to Baltimore, all the way to Stockton, California, and also in Missouri. So we have dioceses who are using the model that we have, and they also come to to this event, from their diocese. This year, of course, we're doing it as well virtually, because we're still
right,
either coming out of the pandemic or still in it, however we want to look at it, but it's still a reality. So maybe next year we'll be able to do it fully in person, but this year we do have some people who are coming in from the diocese and in person, and others will be joining us via Zoom.
Okay, and that was an event that just happened. So hopefully next year it'll be fully in person. I know that a lot of events are hybrid right now because some people are still uncomfortable with gathering. Not to mention, it's just pretty convenient now that we can zoom into things like you and I are doing right here, right? So
Right.
it makes it really nice. The technology is really developed to make things possible for everybody. So that's great. So also
And
in September, you're having a migration mass on September 25th, and that will be at Holy Name Cathedral. Is that correct?
yes, the migration mass, we used to have it in January,
Mm-hmm.
but we're changing it to September so that it coincides with Pope Francis migration week as well.
Great.
And so we're gonna have it on September 25th
Oh, September 25th.
at the cathedral, and the mass will be celebrated by Bishop Robert Casey this year. So we're really looking forward to that. And right now we're in the process of putting it together. Um,
Okay, great. And then just the fact that you have formation in the spring also. What kind of formation do you have going on in the spring?
the formation and I do apologize when I mentioned the institute. I was thinking about 2023 already.
That's fine.
So the same thing with the formation. We are going to have it in the spring. And what we do is that's where we train the leaders from the parishes.
Okay.
So we bring new leaders from parishes throughout the diocese, and we go to the formation, a prayer. People get to know each other again. We bring in presenters. Sometimes it might be somebody from the Mexican consulate, or it might be somebody from Catholic Charities. Or like I mentioned, somebody who talks about labor rights, and just connect people with the different agencies and organizations that are out there,
Mm-hmm.
so that people can then have, collaborators when they go back to their parish and bring them.
Right.
So, and of course, we go through the whole, Catholic social teaching, the history, of Catholic social teaching, as well as the history of Pastoral Migratoria and how we've gotten at this point.
So a lot of parishes already have a pastoral migratoria group, a ministry group, and some of them don't. So what are ways that people could find out how to start this ministry or how to get involved in an existing one? What are some ways they could do that?
Well, they could get in touch with me here at the Archdiocese of Pastoral Migratoria.
And how could they reach you? Yeah.
So my email would be the best. So that would be mpineda@archchicago.org.
Okay.
That would be the best way to to contact me. Also, they can reach me via phone at 773-678-3224. And I'd be more than happy to to walk with them and see how we can begin a ministry in their parish as well.
And if they wanted to go to your website, how could they find your website?
There's two ways. The easiest way is to go to to Facebook. So just look Pastoral Migratoria Archdiocese of Chicago, and
Okay.
then there they could either message me through there or leave a message in one of the posts, and then I would be happy to get in touch with them. Or they can come to our archdiocese website, Archdiocese of Chicago, and under immigration ministry, it will lead you to to Pastoral Migratoria, and my contact information should be there. And any other colleagues who are listed there as well can be reached.
Great. So lots of opportunities for ministry, lots of opportunities to help people, to accompany people, and of course, just to share Catholic social teaching as we're all called to do. So, Mauro, I'd like to thank you for joining me this morning. It's great to talk about the ministries that we share at the Archdiocese. And it's time for break, and I have another colleague joining us after the break. Thanks, Mauro.
Amen. Amen. Let my song join the world that never ends, because he lives. I was dead in the grave. I was covered in sin and shame. I heard mercy call my name. He rolled the sun away. Amen. Amen.
We are hiring. Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of Chicago is looking for mission-driven individuals who want to help make a positive difference in the lives of people in need throughout Cook and Lake counties. Be part of a diverse, talented team of professionals in the largest human services organization in the Midwest. We are dedicated to helping people chart a more stable, happier future for themselves, and we accompany anyone in need, regardless of faith, gender, race, or ethnicity. Competitive salaries and generous benefits add to the satisfaction you'll have every day knowing that you're helping us amplify our impact in Chicago. To see our list of employment opportunities, visit CatholicCharities.net.
I can't imagine myself going into any other school.
Our school fosters growth by being a backbone to our family.
My kids are incredibly well-rounded. I see a lot of kindness in them on a daily basis.
One of the things I think Catholic schools do well is personalize the learning experience. You can hear joy in the classrooms.
I feel that I'm happy that I am in this kind of school.
Our school communities provide students with academic excellence and character education in a supportive and stable learning environment. Come see for yourself. Visit archchicago.org/findaschool.
The cemetery ministry is a core ministry of our Catholic faith tied to the corporal works of mercy. It's comforting to know that our Catholic cemeteries are caring for the remains of our loved ones awaiting the resurrection. There are 44 Archdiocese of Chicago Catholic cemeteries willing to help you in your time of loss. Call 708-449-6100 or visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org. Catholic Cemeteries, serving the Catholic community since 1837.
You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Thanks for letting us be part of your morning. Now again, Catholic Chicago.
Thanks for being with us on the August edition of Fully Alive, the radio program and podcast of the Office of Human Dignity and Solidarity at the Archdiocese of Chicago. I am your host this morning, Dawn Fitzpatrick, and I am from the Respect Life Ministries portion of the Office of Human Dignity and Solidarity. And now, we just got finished talking to Mauro, who works in Pastoral Migratoria, also in the Office of Human Dignity and Solidarity. And now I'd like to bring another colleague aboard. She is new to our office. Her name is Danielle Baudet, and she is the Senior Coordinator for CRS and CCHD. Welcome, Danny.
Hello. Thank you for having me. It's so good to be here.
Oh, it's great to have you. It's so exciting to see you, to have you in our office. You've been a long-anticipated employee, somebody we've been waiting for a couple of years now, actually, and finally we found you. So yay! So, it's a bit very important ministries that you're managing, both CRS, which is kind of a relationship with the CRS team and everything that we do at the Arch to help them, and then CCHD, which is certainly providing grants and helping people with a hand up, right, so that they can start businesses and really get themselves or help others out of poverty is really what that CCHD is all about. So tell us a little bit, Danny, about where you came from and how you came to be at the Archdiocese of Chicago.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again for having me here and being so welcoming around the office and as a part of this podcast. So what did bring me here? Wow, a series of really, really fortunate events. I graduated from the University of Minnesota in 2021. And it was there that I got to be involved with my College Newman Center, St. Lawrence, and just being involved with the Minneapolis community and getting to learn in school. I got my degree in English and global studies, so I really got to learn about, you know, all the inequalities that exist in our world today and the systems that perpetuate them. And when I was involved at the Newman Center, I got to learn all those things from the faith perspective of what Catholic social teaching calls us to do, which is stand in solidarity with others and always be an advocate. So after graduating from the University of Minnesota, I went on to get my master's at the University of Notre Dame in nonprofit administration. And it was really there that I got the business tools and skills to put into action all the things I had learned in my undergraduate career. So while I never thought I would be a graduate of business school, I'm really grateful for learning all those more technical skills that make a huge difference when it comes to helping others support their communities. And then upon graduation this past May, I found this position and it's a perfect fit. And I'm so grateful.
Well, it's amazing how important business skills are in church ministry. I don't think people always think about that, and especially if we're trying to manage a big area of ministry, it's business skills really come in handy. So I'm sure you're already seeing that as you're just onboarding and learning what your role is going to be and the ministry that you'll be managing. But you're probably already seeing how much you're going to put those business skills to use, I would imagine. So
absolutely. I mean, looking at financial statements is not something I learned to do in undergrad, but I'm very grateful that I took that year to know what these numbers mean and why they matter. Because you're right, business is a part of everyday life, no matter what sector you're in.
Absolutely. And I also think it's so nice to be able to take those business skills, but expand them with our faith. You can't do that in the business world. So, or at least not overtly, where we're all about ministry. We're all about faith. And of course you want to manage it well, but really helping people to grow in their faith and to be accompanied in whatever their needs are. That's our goal, right? So that's what we do.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about what you've been working on so far. What do you want to share?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been learning a lot. I would say that this past, I started about 3 weeks ago, and the theme has just been learning. I am new to the Chicago area, and I am new to being an employee of the church. Obviously, I've been involved in the church for most of my life, but this is entirely new for me. So thankfully, the work that I'm doing is somewhat familiar in that, I've spent time studying these things, and I had a lot of things in school that look like what I'm doing now. But right now, the main focus is on CCHD. And someone said the other day that CCHD is the best untold story of the Catholic Church. And I'm only 3 weeks in, but I'm really learning that to be true. I'm in the middle of really building relationships, I would say. We're kind of not in a lull, but in an interim time between our grant cycles. So I have that space to use that time to build relationships. So that looks like meeting with our grantees and learning not only what they do, but how it fits into the larger context of Chicago, right? Being new to this area, there's so much to learn. There's so much history. There's so much current things going on, and it's been really informative to learn how the nonprofits that CCHD supports fit into that larger story of Chicago and even the U.S. So it's been really interesting.
Well, my knowledge of CCHD tells me that it actually started here in Chicago.
Yes.
And now there's a national office that kind of helps to manage grants all over the country, but it all started here in Chicago. So it's kind of a nice legacy that you're continuing then to make sure that we can continue to serve the people that serve people here in Chicago. What are some of the kind of the places that that benefit from CCHD grants?
Yeah, that's a great question. To go back to the history for a moment, I was actually preparing for a meeting to talk about CCHD, and I was on our Wikipedia page, which I didn't know existed.
Okay.
But I learned that, it was started in the 60s in Chicago, and it was actually created as a response to an encyclical that was written, I believe, by Pope Paul VI. I don't remember the name of it, something in Latin, obviously. And so that's just kind of a cool history, learning that this was literally born as a response to something that the Pope saw and that needed to be addressed. So it's very empowering to be a part of a ministry that is literally a response to that call. In terms of who we're supporting, it's such a joy to be able to hype these organizations up. We're dealing with lots of nonprofits in Chicago that work with workers' rights, specifically domestic workers. I've gotten the chance to speak with a few of those organizations and learn about, what's the problem? Like, there's probably so many problems, but hearing them kind of lay out what the situation is and then where their organization comes in to help has been really fascinating. There's also lots that speak to housing and housing rights. I spoke with someone the other day who was working with equitable development on the southeast side. So we really span quite a few different areas of the nonprofit sector. But I would say, from what I've noticed, workers' rights and housing rights and development would be kind of the main things this year.
Okay. So these are all small nonprofits from around the Chicago area, and we also manage grants that we can get in from the national office, right? I mean, that's part of, we help them to determine what would be a worthy cause for those grants as well. And where does the money come from for these grants, Danny?
I'm so glad you asked. It comes from all of our lovely parishioners around Chicago.
Yes.
So we have our annual appeal to second collection that takes place the weekend before Thanksgiving. And that is how we fund all of these organizations, by all the people who hear about our ministry or are in the pews on that Sunday. And let me tell you, it is incredible to see the generosity of people in Chicago. We pre-pandemic, we would have speakers that would go to these churches and talk about what the grantees are doing. Sometimes it would be employees or people who've benefited from the nonprofits that would go and speak. Other times it was those that serve on our allocations committee. But we really, as we promote our collection, we really want to give people an idea of where their money is going.
Yes.
Obviously, that is a huge part of fundraising, right? Every person who donates has, they want to know where their money is going. And so we really try to make that information available. So keep an eye out for some of our promotional materials starting in September.
Okay. So it is break time. So when we come back from the break, we'll talk some more about this, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about your work in CRS as well.
Great.
See you all in a few
Thank
minutes.
Amen. Amen. I'm alive because he lives. Amen. Amen. Let my soul join the world that never ends. Amen.
Do you have an old bicycle that's not being used? Consider donating it to Catholic Charities Veterans Bike Project of Lake County. Skilled volunteers are refurbishing bicycles to make them safe and ready to be used by veterans to get to and from their new places of work. We also gratefully accept financial contributions that are used to purchase bike helmets and other safety accessories. Our veterans have faithfully served the United States, and now it is our privilege to serve them. For more information on the Veterans Bike Project of Lake County, call 847-782-4219. That's 847-782-4219.
We are at the Most Blessed Trinity Parish Food Pantry in Waukegan.
And here we care for people in need. There was definitely an uptick in the needs for services.
We doubled our volume after COVID hit, from servicing about 250 families a week to about 500 a week. We supply bread, tortillas, vegetables, milk, cheese, butter, proteins, fish, chicken, eggs.
Well, the annual Catholic Appeal has been a tremendous help to us, especially over the past year and a half.
Without the annual Catholic Appeal, we might have to close our doors. Our parish is the largest one in the Archdiocese, but is very poor. We think about food and we think about nourishment, but we also nourish the soul, provide that connection to humanity.
The good works here are made possible through the annual Catholic Appeal. Make your gift at annualcatholicappeal.com.
Catholic Charities has had the privilege of helping people in need in Cook and Lake County for more than 100 years. We would like to take this opportunity to thank our frontline workers who, despite the unprecedented challenges of the past 2 years, continue to excel at their jobs every day. From the warehouse staff members who pack boxes of nutritious foods for low-income seniors, to the dedicated WIC employees who have remained open for families with children under the age of 5, to our volunteers and restaurant partners who ensure that meals are available for those experiencing hunger, to our service coordinators and our professional counselors who continue their vital work in innovative ways, to our food pantry staff, and to all those who work at Catholic Charities Call Center, finding solutions for every person who reaches out to us for help. Charity is at the heart of all you do, and we salute you.
I believe in the risen one. I believe I overcome by the power of his blood. Amen. Amen. I'm alive, I'm alive.
You are listening or watching Fully Alive, the radio program and podcast of the Office of Human Dignity and Solidarity at the Archdiocese of Chicago. I'm Dawn Fitzpatrick, and at the moment I'm talking with my coworker Danielle Beaudet. Hello, Danny. Thanks for being with us. Yes. So we were just talking about a little bit about your work in the CCHD, the Catholic Campaign for Human Development. You were talking about the fact that all of the donations that we're able to give as grants come from people in the pews. And it's really a very important collection that happens in November, where that's the money that goes out to these small nonprofits to help serve the poor, the needy, the impoverished in different ways around the Archdiocese of Chicago. And also sometimes there are national grants that come in to these groups as well that can either be a match or even a larger amount sometimes. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of our national grants still they're still going to Chicago nonprofits. They're just eligible for more money. And they go through that national approval with the USCCB.
Okay. So in addition to the work you're doing with the Catholic Campaign for Human Development, your role includes Catholic Relief Services as well, or what we call CRS. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing with that and where you see that going as you learn more, of course.
Absolutely. I feel as though CRS is pretty familiar to any of us who are familiar with international NGOs. So it's an organization that I had been very familiar with, and I'm sure I'd done lots of school projects on throughout my years. But I've been able to dive in a lot more as one of their advocates on a local level. For those of us who remember, when you think CRS, you might think the Rice Bowl collection, which is that box that you received in
Lent,
Catholic school during Lent. I know as soon as someone said that, it brought me back to a certain place. I was like, oh my goodness, I do remember getting those. So that's probably the most notable thing, but people don't always think about where that money goes, especially young kids who are just excited to put coins in a box. But that money gets sent to the CRS National Office, and then we get some of that money to distribute locally to, again, small nonprofits. So yeah, the CRS process is sort of CCHD on a slightly smaller scale, because CRS does so much internationally. So that means that we do slightly less locally, but it still has a massive impact and is doing incredible work.
Well, and I don't know how much work you've been doing with it yet, but we also, when national disasters happen, we usually have a big role in, kind of motivating the parishes to donate, to provide aid for a country who's seen a national disaster, or who's having a particular difficult time in a certain area. So I know that we've often had somebody from CRS on to talk about something they're working on all around the world. There's people in third world countries who will say that the reason they grew into a healthy adult is because of CRS and the way that they were able to be fed and educated and clothed. And if it weren't for CRS, they wouldn't have had that. And so that really comes from the work of our parishes, again, in providing donations for things like that. So,
yeah, their work is incredibly expansive. It certainly affects the lives of individuals, but even on a macro level. I was speaking with some CRS staff, and they are certainly some of the first to respond to emergencies all over the world, sometimes getting there before some of the world's largest relief organizations. Of course, CRS is included in that, but they are very, very quick to go to those in need, whatever that need may be. And so I really think of my role, as you said, kind of as a liaison between the Archdiocese of Chicago and CRS. And I'm sure that they have CRS representatives in Chicago, but I just play an additional role in that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've had Beth Kenobi on this program a few times. She's our local representative, and she is just a wonderful person. I'm sure you'll get to know her, and she can connect you with all the things they're doing globally, locally, and our efforts. I think she actually represents a region. So Chicago is just one area that she partners with to do that wonderful work. I think one of the things that's become very apparent to me in working in our office is, there's so much the church does for people in need in all situations. And it's just in response to our calling as, baptized Catholics, that we are called to serve. We're called to take care of people. We are called to be our brother's keeper. And I think if you look at all of our ministries, and as I said, I'm talking to you now, right in the previous segments, I was talking to Mauro from our immigration group, and really what the work we do in our office is our job. It just is. I mean, as Catholic humans, it's our job to take care of our fellow human beings, and especially those that are in a particular need, whether it's someone who's unborn and needs the right to life, or someone who is alive already or already born, because of course they're alive from the moment of conception, but somebody that we recognize on this earth who has a particular need. It's our job to make sure that they can live a decent life with dignity. So it's just great work.
It's
yes.
It's incredible to see the role that Catholic social teaching plays in our work. I mean, it's what makes the church come alive.
It is.
And like it's such a clear way that the Holy Spirit comes into the work that we do. And the fact that I get to be an advocate for our grantees, for those who benefit from the nonprofits that we serve, that's an incredible privilege. And I don't take that lightly in the slightest.
Right.
And it's a huge gift to be able to stand in solidarity with those in our community. The USCCB phrase for CCHD is working on the margins. And it's more than working on the margins, it's standing there with people who are there. It's empowering them by giving them the resources that no one else has been giving them, and knowing that they know best how to utilize those. So
yes,
CCHD is really a ministry about lending resources where they are not allocated otherwise. And I think that is an incredibly responsible and generous way to stand in solidarity with others. And it's a huge, huge gift to be able to be a part of that.
That's great. That's great. Yes, definitely working in the leadership roles here at the Archdiocese is a huge privilege. And in my own experience, it's very humbling to see all the people that we work alongside with to make these ministries happen, and just how much people give of themselves, and how generous people are with their time, with their dollars, and with any gifts that they can offer. So it's nice to be able to introduce you, of course, to our audience here. And I'm sure that many people are going to be able to work alongside with you as we go forward. And it's just so important that people know what we do as a church and what we can offer. I think people have no idea. They think that all we do is go to Mass, which is a very important part of our lives. But there's so much that we do in the outreach area to just take care of people and help people to thrive and to know Jesus Christ. I mean, that can't go without saying. We have to say that what we're doing is bringing Christ to others and being Christ's hands and feet as he asked us to do. So, that's our job, like I keep saying.
Absolutely. And I think it's incredible that that this exists, and I just hope that it can gain even more momentum, because I think about all the people that don't know that CCHD exists, myself included, for so many years. And if it can gain momentum, that would just be incredible for the work that we do. And I think CCHD is really a haven for so many people in the church and outside of the church. And I hope that it eventually gets the recognition that it deserves, and I hope that more people know about it.
Sure. So, Danny, how can people get in touch with you if they would like to have more information or get involved or do more with your ministries? How can they reach you?
Absolutely. So I have my contact information on the Arch website under the Parish Vitality and Mission portion of the website. And please email me, please give me a call. It would be lovely to meet and just encounter anyone who's interested in the ministry.
Okay. And if you do go to the archchicago.org website and you navigate to CRS or CCHD?
I think, either CCHD or CRS, and my contact should be there.
Or Office of Human Dignity and Solidarity. You can eventually figure out where Danny is. So I'd like to thank you for joining us today, and also thank you to Mauro Pineda from Immigration, who was here as well earlier. And welcome to August, everyone. We will see you in September. God bless.
Thank you.
I was covered in sin and shame.
Join us every Monday through Friday at this time for Catholic Chicago. You can stream our programs live or listen to past programs by visiting our website, archchicago.org, and clicking on Radio TV. And please connect with Catholic Chicago on social media.
Amen. Amen. I'm alive because he lives. Amen. our song.